I think one of the most interested character that I had played was actually just a human itself, but it fights off against dragons, against different monsters and everything else.
You can hit the opponent like 20 times within a turn.
What is the meaning of my life? Why was I created?
Why was I brought here? I can
Heal.
sit in the corner. I can
God.
bless Sanctuary.
There are meant to be very specific weapons to be thrown, but as a DM, just let your players throw anything. Escaping reality is one thing. You get to really cast magic, play with a fighter who is actually strong and everything. Yeah. What was your first characters?
Well, I mean, with characters itself, the first one I did try out playing as a ranger.
A ranger.
Playing in the game itself, I think at the start, when you do not have like a homebrew group itself, I think we all came in, most of us came in to play AL.
To get everyone acquainted, AL is the Adventurers League. It's more of an official gameplay, like different shops to be able to run games, so you can port your character in between the different shops, play different modular games.
Yeah, it's actually more to help out players who want to play, but there are issues with scheduling, which is one of the big problems if you try to have a homebrew itself, and the fact that if you have something that's a bit more standardized, it helps you move around as well to meet new people, playing the group itself. But there's of course there's the constraint as mentioned, like being a ranger, some of the rules or skill set that they have does not exactly come into play because of the limitation of time and the fact that every adventure ends there and then, so it doesn't emphasize or maximize the value of what a ranger can do as compared to if it's a homebrew. But then I think one of the most interested character that I had played was actually just a human itself, but seeing how it fights off against dragons, against different monsters and everything else, and a human, especially as a fighter, where in AL it's not exactly something that is welcome when you have paladins and sorcerers who's playing magic who can be maximized and stuff like that.
Fighter is fun.
But fighters are strong.
I know you can hit the opponent like 20 times within a turn.
I don't think it's 20.
9 is if you attack, action search with a samurai, you can get an extra attack with the 9. You can always get more with the Gloomstalker, but that's just on 4/4. But
essentially, you can often slash someone, which is pretty funny if you realize that this is all happening within 6 seconds.
9 slashes within 6 seconds.
I think the most fun I had was playing a cleric. Just being the healer of the party, then I realized my paladin can also heal people. My other warlock can also heal people. Then I'm not special. What can I do? I can sanctuary and just sit in the corner and sulk.
What is the meaning of my life? Why was I created?
Why was I brought here? I can
heal.
sit in the corner, so I pass without trace, and I bless sanctuary. So essentially, anyone who goes into my cloud of whatever darkness it is gets temporary health, and then it just makes the fight really weird because I don't know what is going on, because I see out the fog and then I see people fighting.
Like, I'm just going to relax
I'm just going
here.
to stand here in my
This
safe
is my
space.
This is my zone. Anybody coming in here, you guys need help.
It's my
coming
no-no
here.
square, even though it's a circle, it's my no-no square.
It's my no-no square.
Actually, it is because we are playing on a 4x4.
Oh,
this is my no-no square. You don't come in, not for you.
I think, truthfully, clerics don't have to be the buffers. They are very strong aggressively as well, with like guiding bolts, high damage, first level spell. Clerics have been known to dish out damage, like for real.
Yeah.
Twilight even, yeah.
Because Twilight Cleric gives you weapon proficiency for like martial weapons, so like a lot of weapons, just stay and just beat.
Just smack someone.
Just collect weapons in case I lose them, because I have a tendency to throw them and lose them. D&D problems. So I throw a sword and then you lose it. Like, what are you gonna do? You throw an expensive sword, it's gone. Your DM doesn't let you find it anymore. What are you gonna do? Oh, you just buy a new one.
Yeah,
or you just loot off your enemies. Throw your weapon at them, you lose it. You rinse and repeat the process until. So what am I even holding now? That's the question.
So the thing is, like D&D, there are meant to be very specific weapons to be thrown. But as a DM, just let your players throw anything. It's fine. You have a long sword, just yeet it. You have a dead goblin, yeet it.
It's just Hitman all over again. You see the enemy there, and then the blade just strikes towards them.
Why I created my first character was because I was waiting for everyone else to do it. And then I was looking, okay, no one has a spellcaster. So I was like, okay, I'll take the responsibility of learning what spells can do. Because everyone's playing a fighter, they don't want to learn spellcasting mechanics. So just like, okay, you know what, fighter, barbarian, and to be that weird, I'm so quirky guy, sorcerer, half orc.
So imagine all them like beefed out barbarians, warriors. Then there's one half orc just going there with robes and a staff.
Yes.
Then what do you do?
I cast magic punch.
I cast punch. You see, your charisma is like low, but your strength is very high.
Yes, that was actually the build. I mean, I had a good enough charisma to multi-class into sorcerer, so this was years before the metas like came out for character building. I think it would be funny. Multi-class a sorcerer into a paladin. Oh, that would be so funny. And then years later, it was the meta.
I think the problem with just multi-class is if you actually play with the laws itself, it just makes your character look insane.
Like, I was literally playing the same
yeah.
starter kit, right? I was a sorcerer going in, I went to the fountain. The fountain, you can pray to Timora, the Lady Luck, right? Lady Goddess of Luck. And I prayed to her and she allowed me to become a paladin to her. So yeah, that was very thematic and I went down that route.
Yeah, we place towards the team, sure.
Exactly.
You don't need the optimal build. You just make what is funny for you. If it works, it works.
There are a lot of different kinds of players. Some players like to min-max, power gamers. Some like the story, the thematics. Some like to just be there with friends.
And some are the crazy players who just want to do the weirdest thing.
I have one. He's a good friend of ours.
No, but he's smart.
He is smart. He comes up with ideas, and there's that. Whenever he says this line, DM, I have a question. Oh, my brain! I know you have an idea. I can see that light bulb appear off the top of your head, and just like, oh no, what idea does
Turning
he
on
have?
gears, trying to do funny stuff again.
Oh,
The
no.
usual.
Different kinds of players, and I think for each kind of player, there is one of the. You should have a different type of DM for each of them.
Okay.
There are some DMs who are really great and they can cater to different kinds of players. There are some DMs who should, let's just say the power gamers, and they want to play like a combat game with some amount of story. Yeah, there are some DMs who specialize in that. If you have that kind of DM running for a group of players who are just there to chill with friends and like, hey, they're here to just talk about their day and then sometimes roll the dice, see what's going on, that DM is not going to be happy.
In a nutshell, DMs are like storytellers. They're like book authors and everything else. You know, there's different style of writing a book. Just as for you as a reader, there's different books that you are more interested in. So, I mean, you don't always get the perfect fit. So you got to move around, change around, and then finally you settle with a book or a Dungeon Master that suits you. And then that's where you think games will definitely be more interesting for you.
What if the player wants to become the story writer? What if he wants to become the DM?
There are not enough DMs out in the world.
There are not enough
DM for us.
Yeah, endangered species of people. You're endangered.
Please keep me alive. Send money to my Patreon. I don't actually have one, so it's fine. Is that you telling us that you want to be a DM? Like, I am more than happy.
I do want to learn. I know people who also want to learn how to be a DM. They want to write the story. They want to change the game. They want to homebrew stuff. Like, they have ideas, like certain scenarios that they want to plan out. It's like just very dynamic. If you like very strategic games, as a DM, you don't want to kill your party. You want to make it challenging enough for them to make it fun.
There's still the threat of death.
Yes.
Without that threat, to me, okay, I know there are a lot of some DMs. That threat of you can be in danger is always that nice spice to sprinkle on. Okay, it just make sure there's enough challenge for them to not go, oh, we can just waltz through this place.
Yeah.
Yeah, always make sure there's consequences, right?
Always add traps. Always keep your players on their toes at all times.
Not at all times.
At all times.
At all times, it's a bit scary.
They walk into town. There's a landfall trap.
Oh,
no.
Not at all times, but yeah, like if the players are trying to do something stupid, make sure that there is a threat of you're going to do something stupid. That's going to endanger everyone.
You can tell them that there are consequences to their actions.
Actually, we did tabletop RPG. I think time management is always a concern.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the biggest weakness for everyone who's playing the game itself.
Our greatest enemy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you have to
especially-
write the story if you're homebrew, so...
And minimally, you need one Dungeon Master and you need a player, but 2 players is probably not going to cut it to make it an exciting adventure. I think with all books, it's always a party of 3, a party of 4, just to make things more interesting. And it's how people interact within the game itself that also brings some spice to everything else. But I mean, as players, as a human, as how we, as well we're all growing up as adults and stuff. We have a lot of commitments as well. So it's a bit hard to maintain this time commitment sometimes. But then again, if you want a game going, if you want a good game going on, this is something you probably have to commit to. So that things keeps going, and the problem comes when like a session is a break and then suddenly the momentum is lost. It's really very hard to pick things up because it just produces more and more excuse for people to not exactly come back to this.